I'm in.
Good. All right, I'll just sign into the regular way.
That's how I got in.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I tried to sign in as a host.
Because Leon called, she wants to say 1 minute about the New York Global in 2024. I said, Mary's hosting it, but I'm sure you can say
Yeah, it's
something.
fine, it's fine.
How are you? Thank you for redoing it. Well, go try to sign in, and I'll see you.
Yeah. I will. Well, I wasn't sure if it would start without one of us signing in the host. Wonderful. Let us share screen.
You did a magnificent job on my letter. What a difference a good writer versus a crappy one
Well,
makes.
business writing course.
I should take one. Oh, here you are. This is great. We both just broke in. All right, I'll hang up our phones.
Yeah. So I took this business writing course and it said, think of your audience. What do they want to know first?
No, you're right. Well, it's
And
interesting.
what order would they want to know?
I've been working with
So
schools
it's the same stuff. I just put it in a different order.
that are lowering their tuition. And so one just went public today, and they sent me the press release last week to critique it. And it went on. I go, I think you should start with, we are lowering our tuition. He goes, oh, you think the press wants the punchline? I'm like, yeah,
They do.
it's really cool. One of the schools that Colby Sawyer, where we just did it 2 weeks ago, the New York Times is on their campus today writing about it.
Oh, well, I'm wanting New College to lower their tuition for out of state.
A lot of schools are doing that.
Because we're cheap in state, but we're not cheap out of state, you know?
Well, another thing schools do is you could have out-of-state students pay the in-state price of their flagship campus.
Ah, cool.
So if I were going to Ohio State or UC Berkeley or something, you could announce for all out-of-state students, well, you can come at that, in-state price of your flagship. Maine is doing something like that. University of Maine.
That's cool. Let me just try this. Okay, that works, right?
Yep.
Okay.
So I guess everyone can get in. We don't use a waiting room. Yes, I saw your note about vacations and time. She did send me.
Well, she's not on vacation. She's working.
I know she's working, but she doesn't work for us full time. So, I mean, I think we probably need to have some I mean, she just sent me a mailing list and stuff and did stuff. So, and she agreed she would take care of all emails and everything in the evenings.
Yeah, I just need to know when she's not going to be available, when she's had limited availability, because I can just plan ahead, I could have asked for this list last week.
There's a day a week that she's, that we know we can get instant turnaround, because she works for a lot of people.
And
but she didn't put in any of the new people's bios. I think that was because we were changing websites. I hope it is. That's why I'd ask you. I was LinkedIn on them. And
she can't put in any bios. We have to do it ourselves. And people are not going to do that.
Well, I wish I'd forgotten that. I should have told people. I think I'll just send a special email to all our new people.
Well, she's got her series of emails. Here's how you sign on. Here's how you do this. Here's how you do that. And the last one is here, or one of the upcoming ones, or the one that just came out, says, here's how you update your bio.
But I mean, she can't even put in their email address.
Yes. Yes.
See,
she can put their name, address, and email address, just the basic.
There weren't even all the email addresses. So I had to go hunting all over the place to get them. And then I got a note from Felice that didn't Lisa join? I said, yeah, but she isn't paid.
Yeah. And I'm getting chewed on by the South people too. So I'm centralizing all the contacts. I will shoot it out to everybody who needs it. But I want it all here, because here's what happens. Oh, the North gets an application. It's really for somebody in the South, and they get around to it. And, like Jan said, oh, I should let the sponsors know about the board approvals. I'm like, no, I'm doing that. And I did it the day after the board meeting.
Right. Oh, I got mine. Deborah Ellen, she's been away. She's going to get back to me. I'm sure she's.
Yeah, I saw that. And so what I'm going to do is once a week, I'm bugging the sponsors. because we'll never get them in.
I'm wondering if on the Google sheet, we ought to put everyone who's been approved and where they are in the process. Is that on there?
That's on there.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you guys had good enrollment, didn't you? Hi, Katie.
Hey, Katie, she's coming. I don't know if she can hear.
How was New College
Welcome.
enrollment?
Hi, Katie.
Hi, how are you?
Hi.
Welcome. We're so pleased to have you as a
Thanks.
member.
Oh, thank you. I'm pleased as punch to be one. It's been terrific.
Yeah, and of course you got the inside skinny on growing Naples.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Woo!
So Lucy was asking me about New College. I'm the chair of New College of Florida, and you were asking me about
Ah.
enrollment.
Yeah,
So we have the largest entering class since 2016, a 30% increase over
that's
last
what
year.
I read that
Wow.
someplace. I'm trying to remember where. Did you see, Mary, I put you up on LinkedIn for being reappointed to the board. I did postings on LinkedIn. I hope I did them right.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm real pleased about that.
Is this the demographic bubble going through, or is it being driven by more people going back to school?
No, what's
or
happening nationwide is fewer people are going to school, especially men.
Ah,
Florida, of course, is against that trend because we're growing.
mhm, yeah,
And all of the state universities are either, on average, there is like a less than 2% decline in enrollment. So New College is really bucking the trend nationally and
Great.
statewide.
That's exciting. And what's driving that? Is it new programs or?
We have a new president, our first permanent woman president,
Ah,
and you know that makes a difference.
for sure.
Patricia Oker, and she has reached out to the community colleges, many of whom have honors tracks, because New College is a public honors liberal arts.
Mhm.
And she met high touch. She met with all the presidents. Her provost met with all the provosts. They had a big signing ceremony on campus where they all came to New College. And lo and behold, we doubled the number of transfer honor students. And we like transfers. They're more mature. They're more intentional.
Yeah.
They are like guided missiles. They want to finish. So that was her secret
Weapon.
strategy. Yeah.
Fabulous.
Yeah. So I'm really pleased about that. You know, one of our most famous students, Bill Dudley, who's former head of the New York Federal Reserve, was a transfer student. So we don't do badly with them.
That's terrific.
Uh,
Well, not everybody starts at the place they finish, and it's not always the right spot.
yeah. And so have you had an opportunity to go to any of the pop-ups or the dining rounds yet? Hey, Leanne.
Hi.
Hi.
Hey, Mary, I called just a little while ago just to see if I could make an announcement.
You
A
sure can.
1-minute announcement about the New York conference in 2024.
That sounds great.
Good, thanks.
So
Katie,
Katie,
I haven't
you
met
had
you,
a
I'm
chance.
Leanne.
This
Hi,
is
Leanne.
Leanne Chung, Katie Sprouse from the South.
South, we're all south of you, Mary.
And
How south? Katie,
And-
how south?
Katie's like rooted in the history of Collier County. So
Yeah.
we're gonna
In
hear more about
Naples.
that. Yeah.
Naples, okay. I'm in Sarasota.
Oh,
And
fabulous.
so Katie does real estate development. Leanne is an engineer who does a lot of quality control work for owners in construction.
I do
Oh,
pay up inspections for banks, but I'm second generation real estate development.
Yep. Terrific.
And I was sorry to hear about your daddy passing, honey. That's
Thank you.
that's
It's
sad.
it's so
Oh,
sad. I'm
sorry.
It's
Yeah. He looks like a really cool man.
Thank you. And then Lucy, I don't know if we want to even ask people who want to go to Helsinki. Do you want me to put that announcement? Because some of the
Oh.
new members, they're asking around, they've never been to a conference and they're just really kind of
Oh, you better
shy
mention,
about signing up. So I just want to encourage people to
you
sign up.
need to mention Detroit, or Beth will have your head.
Yeah.
When is that? I
Detroit's
had it,
2023.
got it. Thank you. Because I remember Las Vegas is coming up in November and good,
Hi,
Detroit's
Donna.
back on the schedule. So Lucy, does that mean you're going to Detroit?
I'm going to Detroit. Those
I like to, I mean, yeah,
those women are gonna show us a good time, I promise you.
Beth is guaranteed we'll have a really good time there. But yeah, I'm
Yeah.
looking forward to Helsinki too.
Helsinki.
Been there.
Several years ago, right before the Sweden conference, I went to Helsinki and then went to Stockholm. So I went on my birthday and the time difference, let's say I left 8:30 in the morning, I landed, left Helsinki 8:30 and landed in Stockholm 8:30 a.m. So it was the same
Yeah.
time difference. So Mary, I had 1 extra hour for my birthday.
The longest birthday ever.
Yeah, exactly. That was good.
The way to do it.
That's
I always remember Leanne's birthday because it's the same as my husband's.
Ah.
Exactly. And it's the same as Alexis Upham's daughter.
Yes.
So I always wish her happy giving birthday.
And I see Donna just sent us a note that she's driving, so she's just listening.
Yeah.
Got it.
We're expecting about maybe 15 people tonight, so.
Okay.
be
I
nice.
just called Arabelle. Did she sign up? I just left a message for Arabelle.
Nope. If she pings you though, you can send her, I
The
think she
link?
can get in on your link.
Yeah.
Hey, Mercedes.
Mercedes in the house. Hi,
Hello,
Mercedes.
ladies. How are you?
Good.
Hey, Leanne.
Hi, Mercedes.
When are we doing that interview, Leanne?
Pronto.
Muy bien. Okay.
Date prisa. Pronto, pronto.
Vamos a ver.
So Mercedes, are you in Sarasota today?
I am. Today I am. Yes.
So
Um,
Lucy, because neither one of us are signed in as host, I can't split us into groups as I planned.
Oh, no. Let's see if I could sign in as a host.
But we're not-
Lucy, are you back?
No, I'm not. I'll be back by October 10th. So
Oh,
yes, we'll have to get together then, Mercedes.
well, I'm leaving town October 7th.
And how long are you going away for?
I'll be back at the last 3 or 4 days of October.
Wow, where are you going?
Yeah, I'm gonna be, well, I'll be at Leadership Florida at the earlier part.
fabulous.
And then I'm going to Las Palmas in the Canary Islands for family reunion. Mary Reese.
Yes, I'm so jealous.
So Mercedes, what
um,
city are you going
Mercedes
to?
and I are cousins because our ancestors,
we
family are
are.
both from the Canary Islands.
Yes.
Very cool. So Mercedes, what city you're going to for Leadership Florida?
Well, first stop is River Ranch, I think it's called.
What?
Something Ranch, River Ranch.
Is it Lakewood?
I think so, yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Lakewood Ranch, that's Sarasota.
No. It's a ranch.
Like a real ranch.
Exactly. Like it has a rodeo and all of that.
Oh,
That sounds like
Arcadia, maybe.
Or is it south? Is it near,
It's not
Fort
far
Myers?
from Arcadia, actually. Hold on. Let me look at my calendar. And I'll let you know. Hold on.
welcome, Melissa.
Good evening, everybody.
I'm
Hello.
Yeah. It is called River Ranch.
Wow. Mary, I can't do it either. I had to get a code that was going to Tanya.
Yeah, well, we'll go with the flow.
Tanya's gonna get all these codes.
Yeah.
do you want me to get Tanya to come in?
She's at a
I know she's
at
out
a
of town. I called
conference,
her.
and so she's got to get to a computer and we'll just manage. We're expecting a few more people, so we'll just wait a little bit.
So what does Leadership Florida go like on a trip every year, or is this more than just 1 year's leadership?
So this is, Leanne can speak probably better to the experience because I'm just joining for the first time. But it's it's a trip every 2 months, right, Leanne?
I did it in the early 1990s. So, right. It's issues facing Florida and you're meeting in a different city each year. So Mercedes is this year. I'm an alum. And so there are issues facing Florida. So, but every year I think it's in 5 different cities.
Yes.
So
I'm
it just
sick.
depends on who's hosting it.
Right.
So
So I get this River Ranch, which is out there in the middle of the state, close to Wauchula and Arcadia, close to Hardy County. Then we have Naples. I know we have Miami, Tallahassee, and a couple more places through.
There's usually an Orlando, a
it
Jacksonville.
just depends. It just depends each year because
Yeah.
sometimes it's been in Sarasota. It's in Sarasota maybe every 4 years. It just depends on where they want it.
Yeah.
So
You'll
Mercedes,
enjoy-
this is the first one?
Yeah, first one.
It's the first meeting for your year.
Yeah.
Hi, Nancy.
Hi there.
Hello. We're just
Maybe
kind
you
of
should start.
chatting while everybody's signing on.
Well, good. I was a few minutes late too, so I appreciate it. Good to see you all.
Nancy, where are you?
I'm in St. Petersburg.
Okay.
Yeah.
But she's global, wherever she is.
Absolutely.
Oh, I
That's
like
right.
the picture behind you.
Thank you. That's my gift to the video conference world.
Is it 3D?
Pardon? It is 3D. It's multiple canvas frames with a single canvas stretched over it, so it has some depth to it as well. So it's fun.
Very cool.
Neat.
And what's behind you, Lucy? I like it.
It's a mural print. I went and took the photos of all my paintings and pictures in my house. So that since I stare at myself on Zoom all the time, I stare at different backgrounds at least.
This is a mural that you own.
Yeah, but it's just a print.
Very cool. There's a museum, there's a Miro Museum in Barcelona.
I
Mhm.
love that museum
That's
Oh,
absolutely wonderful. Yeah.
because I think Miro had something to do with its design and layout. And so it's a Miro within a Miro
Yeah.
up on a
Mm.
hill
Wow.
and huge canvases that you never see in other museums. It's truly spectacular. Sculptures.
In sculptures, he had rope and tapestry sculptures that I've never seen anywhere. Were fabulous.
Yeah.
Marvelous.
So we have Catalan artist Miro Picasso, whose real name was Ruiz. He took his mother's name as his,
Picasso?
yes.
Wow.
Pissed off his dad really big because he took his mother's name as his name. And also Dali. All three are from are all
Catalunya.
Catalan. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. I
I've
try to
been
keep
to
track of
Barcelona.
famous people with my last name.
Exactly. I've been to Barcelona, but because I used to date a guy who lived in Barcelona.
Oh,
Nice.
so dare we ask if you saw much of Barcelona? or-
I went by the Sagrada Familia, but I never went in it. So yeah,
Okay.
good question. Mary knows me.
That's the answer.
Welcome, Scott.
Hi, Lucy. How are you? Sorry, I'm late.
No problem. Lucy, you're on mute. You were saying something.
Somebody and I'll text it to you. Is that okay?
Okay,
All right.
what are you
thanks,
gonna text me?
Oh,
Tanya's
trying to-
texting me something to try to, I'll
Yeah.
try to log in again in a minute to see if we can.
hey, Mindy.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good. Well, we're going to get started. People will probably be signing in because it's going to be an hour. So we're going to end on time. And just to give you sort of a preview of what we've got planned, we're going to make introductions because part of this is about meeting each other and learning a little bit about each other. If technology allows, and if we have more members that are comfortable in one group, I had planned to do a breakout and pose a question to discuss among yourselves. What is your current passion? Not your job necessarily, but your current passion. And then we'll rejoin, and Lucy and Leanne and I will talk about upcoming IWF events, so that you're aware of things that have been planned. So that is the plan. And I'm going to start introductions with our newest members. And so if you would tell us something about yourself, Katie Sproul.
Sure. I'm Katie Sproul. I live in
Oh.
Naples.
First,
Sorry?
that's one thing I've heard already about you, how to say your name.
Oh, yeah, roll like a dinner roll. At least that's how we say it. There's others that may say it differently, but so I'm in Naples, Florida. I wasn't born in Naples, but moved here in 5th grade. So I grew up here and graduated Naples High. So I've seen a lot of the growth here in Florida. I did leave for about 18 years and went up for college, graduate school, all up in the Northeast, spent some time in Boston working in human services and education, went back, got my business degree, was in New York, just as online banking and brokerage was all getting, coming to fruition, and AOL and some of those kinds of fun things, and then decided, since my family is rooted here, to move back to Naples, and been back in Naples for about 23 years, and working for Hallstatt LLC, which is actually a family company. We're part of the Collier family here in Naples. So been really kind of great to be part of that. Rooted in land and predominantly, more recently, real estate development. We run, in 2008, we pivoted from just doing development for the family, and we actually raised a private equity fund. And so now we take outside capital and are on our 4th fund, which has been really an exciting journey, and diversified out and trying to create an alternative investment platform where we take outside capital or building platforms and hoping to take outside capital in a number of different areas, from middle market LBO, specialty lending, search or entrepreneur acquisition through entrepreneurship, and venture. So involved in a lot of different interesting things, and super excited to be part of IWF. Thank you, Donna. I see you're at least on listening. Who, of all things, I needed Donna to introduce me to something that was in my own hometown. So who knew? It's the best kept secret, that's for darn sure. And I've met lots of wonderful women through it. There have been some pop-up lunches in Naples that are wonderful. And that's been a lot of fun. Those are the first few things that I've done. Married, have 2 boys, one a freshman in college, and one who finished his freshman year and decided it was a gap year this year. So we thought we were going to be empty nesters, and that was a trick. So we're not, but it's all good.
So your story would make a really interesting Harvard case study because it's a family business.
Yeah.
That's used very sophisticated capital market techniques. That's pretty spiffy.
Yeah, it's been kind of fun to build it. So thank you for that. That's very kind of you to say. So
It's true. So Mercedes, you want to introduce yourself?
Well, that was very impressive, Katie.
Oh, well, thank you. I'm sure there are many more impressive women here who I'm excited to get to meet and learn from. So I
Welcome,
get to know.
welcome to IWF. I just joined last year, and you're right, I've been impressed by a lot of the women I've met here. My background is in communications, in broadcast communications, particularly Spanish media. I'm from originally, as we were speaking earlier, originally I was born in Havana and spent some time growing up in Cuba and then in Las Palmas in the Canary Islands. Finally to Chicago, where I finished middle school, high school, and went to Loyola University, studied communications, radio, TV, film. And the minute I graduated, I went on Spanish television as a news correspondent. First I was local, and then I became an international correspondent. And I did that for 20 years, worked with Univision.
And isn't there an Emmy involved in this story somewhere?
Sorry?
Isn't there an Emmy involved in this story somewhere? Did
Oh,
I remember that?
There's 5 maybe.
Oh,
fabulous.
holding out on me, Mercedes.
Yeah,
You
who's
mentioned
impressive now?
And the Peabody and the GLAAD Award, which I'm very proud of. But I left Univision, I co-authored a book, which this is fun, so I'll just throw it out there. We debuted the book live on the Today Show with Katie Couric in New York City in her studio, and it was fabulous. And the book was adapted to the stage and became a musical.
Oh, wow.
And it was staged at the Coral Gables Playhouse for a full season, and that was fabulous.
So what's the name of the book?
The book is called, it's out of print, but it's called Dish and Tell, Live, Love, and Secrets by the Miami Bombshells.
Mm.
So it was just fun. It was a fun experience. Did that for a few years, and then I wrote columns for El Nuevo Herald, lifestyle columns, and based on the book begot camps for women. And I think I've talked to Lucy and Mary about one of my co-authors who's still doing those camps. And I'd love to bring IWF to one of these women camps. They're called Campowerment because they're amazing. So after a while, after being on my own for a while, and because of the camps and because of my lifestyle column, CNN Espanol called me to do a women's show. And it was a dream come true. We called it Noti Mujer, or Newswoman. And it was just the kind of show that I've always wanted to do that's not commercial. But we had a book club, and we talked about fashion and art and health and just everything that everybody enjoys, but particularly women don't get enough of. Like I said, it wasn't a commercial venture, and CNN nixed it. They gave us about 3 years with it, and then they said, no, it doesn't go with our brand. We want you to do a politics show. And I ended up going back to doing hard news and politics up until about 2016. By that time, my husband, who'd worked in Spanish radio all his entire career, and I had decided that we wanted to create our own media company. And so we had bought a couple of radio stations, and I was still working in Miami for CNN, and he was working, running 3 stations and then running 2 of our stations, and
There's a lot of running involved.
a lot of running and flying. And we decided, either we continue in corporate America or we give this a real chance. But to give it a real chance, we needed to really just quit our jobs and take on the radio stations full time. And we did that. I moved to Sarasota 3 years ago. We moved our operation from Hardee County to Sarasota in March of 2020. And incredibly enough, we pivoted with pandemic, and the stations have thrived. So I'm very blessed and I'm very grateful and very happy to be here.
Thank you. So Scott, can you hear us?
I can. Can you
Tell
hear
us-
me?
We can, so tell us about
Okay,
yourself.
yeah, I'm not home, so apologize that no camera. So nice to meet you all. I've met some of you. Thank you. I have been in the nonprofit sector, so I'm one of those mission-driven people. I was originally trained in law and public affairs. I was a Peace Corps volunteer, and I've worked mostly internationally with social services and large international development agencies. I lived in 7 countries and traveled to about 40 more. So I've moved around a lot, but I've had a house here in Sarasota for close to 20 years now. So this is more home than any place. Among other things I do here, I ran the UN Women USA Gulf Coast chapter for some years. We run the Through Women's Eyes International Film Festival, which is now in its 24th year in Sarasota, which you should all, I hope, know about. It's open to the public and it's wonderful. I'm writing a book about women that I worked with in India. I worked in a Catholic orphanage in a Hindu country, which was a fascinating experience. I was there with them for 3 years, and I've got a book going about that now. And we're actually starting a new gender equality organization here in Sarasota. There's nothing really that is working generally on women's rights and gender equality. So we are taking our film festival and broadening it and making an entire organization called Through Women's Eyes. So I'll be super interested to have this group hear about that in the upcoming months. Thank you.
Wonderful. Well, Scott, if there are things that you think we can collaborate on in terms of events and promote it mutually.
I would love to. Yeah, I think there will be things that will be of interest to this group, both locally and virtually. So that would be super. Thank you, Mary.
Yeah, just let Lucy know. She'll link you into our program managers. Wonderful.
That'd be great, Scott. In the film festival, I think we should certainly co-market. And you all should, Mary maybe can put in the LinkedIn. I always get our LinkedIn link wrong, but we're trying to use our LinkedIn link for putting up things, talking about what people are doing, and promoting things, as well as my letter and our newsletter. But the more ways we communicate, the more likely we'll reach everyone, since we're all so busy and all of our ways we communicate are flooded. So but do that.
Great. So Melissa, would you tell us about yourself, and also could you tell us about the IWF Fellow Program?
Sure. I'm Melissa Larkin Skinner, and I am the CEO of an organization called Centerstone, where I have been for 28 years. Believe it or not. Last month, I started as a volunteer 28 years ago last month, and worked my way up to CEO in a short 22 years, I think, Mary. Did a little bit of everything. I'm a licensed mental health counselor, so I'm a therapist by training. And right now, I focus, besides running this organization, I really want to change the landscape of mental health and substance use treatment. The system of care is broken. It's way better than it was, but it could be so much better than it is. And I think we owe it to our communities to make sure that happens. So a lot of the work I do now, other than running the organization, or at least supporting my team to run the organization, is at the state and federal level with policy work. I'm the chair of the board for the Florida Behavioral Health Association for the 2nd year. I'm on the board for the National Council for Mental Wellbeing. And I was appointed to the Marjorie Stoneman Douglas Public Safety Commission, as well as the Florida Mental Health and Substance Abuse Commission. So I am basically putting, much to my husband's chagrin, all of my energy into making it better, just making the system better, making the policies better. So several years ago, and honestly, I feel like COVID is a tear in the space-time continuum. And when I talk about how long something ago was, I have to really think about it, and I'm pretty sure I get it wrong most of the time. But I think it was 2018, maybe 19. But Mary said, "Hey, I do this really cool thing. It's called IWF," and we had actually talked about it prior to that. But and she said, "They have this fellows program. Are you interested?" And I said, "Well, what do you know about it?" And she handed me a brochure and I looked through it and I'd say, I'd love to do this. And very gratefully, the chapter here decided to, and Mary knows the story better than I do, but raise money to provide a scholarship because the program is expensive. My company is a nonprofit. We are very mission driven, been here since 1955, actually, and are just dedicated to the community. So anyway, I said yes, and went through a process of being selected by the chapter here. And then by, I think I had to get selected maybe by the state. Anyway, I went through this competitive process and was chosen to participate in this fabulous leadership
So I
program.
think there's only about what, 30, 28 women worldwide who are selected for this fellowship program every year.
Yeah, so my cohort
Congratulations.
had 37 selected
That's
that
probably the
year.
largest class ever.
It was, it's almost like each year they had one or two. So it was fabulous. It consists of 3 different events where you spend a week basically immersed. Our first one was we went to Toronto to the IWF conference, and we spent all that time together, plus attended the conference. Then we were at INSEAD in Paris, or in Fontainebleau, actually, in France. I spent time in Paris, extra time. And then COVID hit, and it actually hit when I was trying to leave Paris. So, it was what it was. So that May, we were supposed to go to Harvard for a week. And we just did that this past year because it got postponed twice. But it's fabulous. I've made some lifelong friends, 36 lifelong friends, and I'm ever so grateful. I have come to believe that the best leaders know themselves. And so it offered an opportunity for me to know myself better. I'm an introspective person by nature, but I still have a lot to learn every day about myself. So I am very grateful.
You got a mentor, right? You got to pick from the global array of people willing to mentor someone who
So we had to fill out a survey and then we got matched. So I got matched to someone actually down in Miami, which was kind of convenient, but COVID just messed with some things, but she was fantastic.
So
Is
all
it
of
an
us,
IWF member in Miami?
yeah,
Yes.
yes.
Yeah, they're all IWF members.
Who
and
is it?
people. Her name was Stephanie. She is the COO of, what the heck was that called? It's a children's something or other, but what they do is they decide where the funds go in Miami-Dade
It's
to
like a children's
children's
welfare board.
programs throughout the community.
The Children's Services Council, probably. We have one here where the tax dollars are distributed to children serving charities.
It's
So I just-
similar to that, but it's not a government.
Yeah,
entity.
as you know, in Miami, everything's
Right.
It's,
But I just wanted to highlight that this fellows opportunity is there. If you know women who want to compete, they can apply directly to IWF Global. Also, any of us as IWF members are eligible to mentor. So if you're interested in being a mentor, you can put your name in and you might be matched with someone who is in the same field or has the same interests. So
Right, IWF members can't be fellows. The assumption is that someone who's
right, but we
not
can
quite
we
at
can
our
be
level
mentor-
yet. And then
we can be
Melissa was
mentored.
there, and so she was able to join afterwards. But it's sort of for women who are, coming up and getting close to being CEOs, I think.
So
'Cause the
here's
other-
what I'll tell you, because I want you to know this. This chapter is far and away ahead of many chapters across the nation. And the reason why is that many of the people in my cohort are not welcome in their chapters. And I think that is really sad. And I hope that it changes in the future. Because I mean, if you are investing your time and energy, IWF is investing their time and energy, I would think that we'd want to
Yeah,
have the people that we invested in be a part of us. So I just want to point that out, that I am grateful to everyone that had any hand in it whatsoever. because it really was awesome. And I have not only the mentor that was assigned to me, but I also have 36 mentors throughout the world that were part of my cohort, and they all had tremendous things to offer.
And we actually, your year sent 2 people, right? Was Hosanna in your class?
Donna Fiber.
was.
And she also is now a member. So I didn't know that was so rare. But the other thing is we haven't done a fellow in, I guess, since your class. And so we should think about it for in a year or 2. I mean, we have to raise, I think it's like $30,000. But,
Right.
you know, if you know, a woman who's getting close to the top, but who could use this experience, I'm jealous. I would love it. To do something like this. It's a phenomenal opportunity.
So it's true that the forums don't routinely welcome their fellows, and I agree with Melissa. And our board basically has passed a policy that if you're good enough for this global fellowship program, you're good enough for us. So we basically will be inviting any fellow that comes from our area to participate. And we've also picked up a fellow from Jacksonville and invited them to the forum. So maybe by our example, we can let people know what a meaningful thing it is. So Mindy, we're on a nonprofit roll.
Yes, we are. So my name is Mindy Murphy. I am the president and CEO of the Spring of Tampa Bay, which is the Certified Domestic Violence Center for Hillsborough County, Tampa, Florida. I've been in this position for 10 years and absolutely love what I do, helping make a difference in the lives of survivors and their children. My entire career has been nonprofit sector with a little bit of break where I didn't work, but I was on the board service side of the nonprofit sector. So grew up in really, I think of Cincinnati as my hometown. I was born in Germany, lived there for 3 years. My father worked for Procter & Gamble and was over there on assignment. Lived in Kansas City for about 5 years once we moved back to the States. But by the time I was 9, I was in Cincinnati. So my tail end of elementary school, middle school, and high school were all spent in Cincinnati. Went to school for college at the University of Virginia, and then made my way down to Florida after graduation, kind of kicking and screaming because it wouldn't have been my first choice of places to live, and now I can't imagine living anywhere else. So worked for the Child Abuse Council here in our community, and then pivoted. I was a junior league president. I served as the board chair for our CBC, our community-based care organization, and the child welfare system. So I did that as
God bless you.
Yeah, it was, I mean, so many things still, haunt me. And there are many things that I learned in that role, serving on the board and doing advocacy around the state that I use today in my job. So I'm passionate about helping women in different ways. I do that professionally, and I do that as a volunteer. I serve on a couple boards here in town, and it sounds like the theme of the pandemic is things put off. So in 2020, I was supposed to have attended the Harvard, a week-long class at Harvard called Strategic Perspectives in Nonprofit Management, and it got postponed, but I finally got to do it this summer in July, and it was such a great experience. There were 150 people from 40 countries around the world, all working in the nonprofit sector, and we spent a week together talking about strategy and how do you lead and think big and manage change in this constantly changing world. So that was a great opportunity, and it sounds like similar to Melissa, there's just people from all over that I will be able to rely on for years to come through that program. And anyone in the nonprofit sector, right? We're all eligible to apply for that program. And a lot of the Harvard clubs have funding. So if you work in the nonprofit sector and you want to attend, talk to the Harvard Club in your community, because it's a great opportunity. So in my spare time, I like to spend time with my friends. I've got an adult son who still lives at home, so I like to spend time with him. I'm excited about adventures to come, and maybe eventually having one of those adventures be with IWF and attending the world, whatever the world event is called, but the annual conference that is hosted in different places. I'd love to do that at some point in the future.
Well, we have 2 a year, so
Two,
Sooner or
I didn't
later.
even realize that. Two a year,
Ah,
not
sooner or
one.
later, you're bound to
Yeah.
hit one that works.
Yeah,
for you.
double my opportunities. So
There
I
you
look
go.
forward to that.
And it's interesting, Mindy, what you said about the Harvard Club sponsoring the nonprofits. I never realized it, but I belong and several of our members belong to the Harvard Club in
Ah,
Sarasota. It's,
Nice.
It has meetings about once a month.
Okay. Yeah, you should see if they sponsor nonprofits in your community. Here in Tampa, I don't know how active they are, but our community foundation actually pays half the cost, and then the agency has to pick up the other half. But it was interesting because I was trying to figure out how 150 of us from the nonprofit sector all ponied up, with all in between the tuition and then, getting to and from, you're at about probably 8,000 or more if you're traveling from
Oh, yeah.
another country. And so many of them said, yeah, the thing is completely picked up by Harvard alumni, in Melbourne, Australia, of all places, right? So Scotland, it was just, we had in my cohort, in my living pod, we had somebody from Nepal, and I think he was sponsored by the Harvard Club. So it's a great thing that they do to send us to
Yeah, so Lucy,
off to HBS. Yeah,
if the club is interested, it may be that we can get others to
right.
join together to
Yeah,
offer that opportunity for another nonprofit.
it would be great. Yeah.
Naples usually sends one I don't know if it's every year, but they
Right.
try the best they can as often as they can.
Yeah, we had a really good representation from Florida, and because our community foundation sends us, we have a cohort every year. So from the Tampa Bay area, Tampa, Clearwater, and St. Pete, we've had as many as 7 people in one class. This year we had 3 of us, 2 from arts organizations in Pinellas, and then myself. But it's a
Wow.
great,
Mindy,
great
I love your
opportunity.
enthusiasm about, someone from Melbourne and someone from Nepal. The Nepal
Yeah.
person saying, wow, there was someone there from Florida.
Right, exactly.
So Donna, you're on mute, and I don't know if you're in a position to participate. I don't know if you're driving or anything, but if you'd like to introduce yourself, we'd love that.
Okay, so I am off mute. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I am driving, but this is just fascinating, just sitting here listening to all of you. I have to tell you, it's such an impressive group.
It's the easiest program to run. You just let people talk about
Oh my
all the amazing
goodness.
things they're doing.
And
Yeah.
All
Donna,
the
can you
things I'm
see us?
learning.
Donna, can
I
you
can-
kind of see us?
I can kind of see you, but I'm pretty much keeping my eyes on the road.
Good idea.
It's
Good
better.
answer.
Yeah. But I am originally from Chicago, born and raised Chicago, came up through the business world in finance, and joined IWF many, many years ago in Chicago when I was president of Harley Davidson Financial Services. So I ran the finance arm, financing motorcycles and motorcycle dealers and consumers. So my background has been with startup companies. First one we ended up selling, it was technology leasing. We sold it to Chrysler Financial. Second one was in specialty finance, and we sold it to Harley Davidson. So that's how I've got an entrepreneurial side of my background too. Currently, and then I left Harley and went and created my own advisory firm. Was doing corporate board work and nonprofit board work. And one of my nonprofits asked me to step in as an interim CEO. So I spent about the last 9 years of my career running the Economic Club of Chicago, which was a business and civic leadership group in the city of Chicago. About 2,400 of the top leaders in the institutional area, as well as corporate. So museums, arts, etc. Most recently, I retired from there, and we've bought a place in Naples. And so I have become a resident of Florida and have been in Naples in the wintertime for the last couple of winters. Really didn't get to meet anybody until last year because of COVID. And that's when Katie and I had a chance to meet, which was really nice. And we both were comparing notes about how to plug into the community. And that's how Katie got to IWF. And I transferred to IWF in South Florida. So right now, my focus is I'm on 4 corporate boards and I'm on 2 nonprofits. And where I'm really passionate, other than my new granddaughter, and I've got another grandchild I just learned coming up in March. So it's a whole nother chapter. It's been thrilling. But I'm really passionate about trying to get more women into the C-suite and more women on boards. And so I'm focused and working on a number of projects, including with the National Association of Corporate Directors and Women Corporate Directors, to just try and make that happen.
So
think
Donna,
that's-
I was gonna say, put November 14th on your calendar, and all of you can. At 5:30, we're having an event in Tampa at the University of Tampa, where we're rolling out the census that the University of Tampa's done on women on the Russell 3000 boards in Florida and in the C-suite. Florida ranks at the bottom of women on their boards compared to all of the other states. And we're also gonna send a shout out to, I think it's 9 companies that have 40% or more women on their boards that are in Florida. And so it'll be, they'll roll out and talk about the census and the data, and then there'll be a reception.
And that is one of our board projects to advance women's leadership. We're taking on the Florida companies who need more good women on their boards.
And we actually have what we call the 0 companies, and there are, I think, 9 of those in Florida, companies with no women on their boards. And I don't know if many of you know Deborah Ellinger, who we're hoping will join us, is in Tampa. And Deborah, as part of this group, has written to all of those companies, and 2 of them, I believe, have taken her up on the offer to help them find women and are adding women to their boards. So we're feeling
We're making
really
a
good about
difference.
this.
It's great.
Because it's really about change.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah. And that's the only way to do it is just to start with at least getting one woman on the board, and hopefully a woman who's really firm about using her voice to make sure that she's not going to be the only woman on that board.
Right.
And just, keep driving that change. And it's a slow change, but if you're persistent, you can make incredible change over time.
Sounds wonderful. So Nancy Callahan, you're of the class of 2021. But we still
Yes.
consider you new. It's like the newlywed game. You can compete for 2 years.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Class of 2021. I love it. So again, Nancy Callahan. I come from the field of technology. So I'm currently a global vice president at SAP. I'm involved in a large internal project to upgrade all of our cloud infrastructure to the latest technology, to the hyperscalers, AWS, Amazon, Google Cloud Platform. Have been with SAP for about 7 years. Before that was with Concur. Many of you may have used the Concur application for doing your travel and expense reporting. That's the application that's used by many, many corporations in America. I did, and globally. I moved to Tampa, Florida, or the Tampa Bay area. I live in St. Petersburg, as I mentioned in the beginning. I moved to St. Petersburg in the middle of COVID, so almost 2 years ago now, a year and a half ago in December. Before that, I had been in the Seattle area, obviously a large technology community there, where I had lived for about 8 years. But in the middle of that 8 years, I had the opportunity to go live in Germany for a period of time working in the SAP headquarters. So that was marvelous. I've always been attracted to and worked for global organizations that have impact. And indeed, SAP has tremendous impact on the world. And in fact, the vision statement of SAP is to help the world run better and improve people's lives, because it touches so much of the world's commerce and manufacturing and logistics. So many companies rely on the systems. I am also a corporate board member, but I'm much earlier in my career, my corporate board career, than Donna, and I hope to follow the path of successful women like her. I would like to transition into having more board seats as sort of my next chapter, but I'm doing it thoughtfully. I'm on the board of a public insurance company in the Midwest, and am gravitating towards technology, fintech. I believe that technology is a force for good. So finding those companies that are really making a difference in the world through the constructive use of technology. And an example of that is I'm an advisor to a very young startup that is all about improving the financial safety net for employees through an employer-sponsored emergency savings plan, for example. And it's really a technology platform that enables that. I love being part of IWF because I get to see so many different sides of the community. I did first join IWF in Seattle, so it provided the same perspective of so many impactful women across all segments of of the community. And indeed, IWF Suncoast does the same thing here. So I'm grateful that you guys were open to accepting me into your community, and it's been fantastic.
So Leanne, you have just a fascinating background of your own. If you tell us something about that, and also you wanted to tell us about some of the upcoming global conferences.
Got it. Thank you, Mary. But before I share who I am, I wanted to comment two different things for Mindy as well as for Donna. Mindy shared about her excitement of upcoming conferences, but I'll talk about the conference later on. I reached out, I'm going to New York later this week, and I reached out to the Women Forum of New York that Lucy used to be a member of. Lucy, you might still be a member?
No,
Okay, so I just reached out to her today, the executive administrator. They emailed me back because I told her the dates. I'll be in New York, parts in September, parts in October. She sent me 3 events, and I'm going to attend 2 of the 3. One of them, about a week from now, is the Tenement Museum on Orchard
oh,
Street.
that's great.
And I could bring,
great.
I've never been there, and I could bring
Yeah.
guests, so I'm gonna attend that. And then the other one was a shoes exhibit at the FIT Fashion Institute Museum. And the head of that museum at FIT is a member of the Women's Forum in New York City. So she's gonna give a tour. So it's a shoes exhibit on 400 pairs. So I'm going. So that is just totally out of the blue, but that came up today. So Mindy, I'm encouraging you, when and if you do travel to certain things, feel free to reach out to that forum. Literally, that just happened today. That just happened this afternoon. So I'm going to do that in my calendar.
And that holds true of global forums.
Yes.
If you go to Spain or France or England, anywhere, Finland, anywhere we have a forum.
I've done that with Spain. I've reached out
Okay.
when my niece
And
was,
how was your experience?
I was absolutely right. I've done that with other forums. I've reached out to Hong Kong. And they'll get together and have a dinner just to meet me. I've done that in Texas before. I've done it in Madrid, in Spain. I was gonna go
Very
visit my
welcoming.
niece in Salamanca. And then one of the ladies, because of flying in late, whatever, she just let me stay at her place in Madrid the night before I was gonna fly out. So it was.
You can see
it was
Leon is a
wonderful. So-
complete extrovert.
Yeah, yeah.
And then for
Network
Donna,
extraordinary.
and Donna, I
So-
don't know if you could hear.
So tell us about your construction engineer background and also about the 2024 New York conference.
Can I still kind of tell Donna about something, what she said?
Sure,
earlier?
sure.
Okay, Donna mentioned about the Harley Davidson. Donna, can you hear me? It's Leanne Chung from Sarasota.
She's on mute.
Okay, well, Donna, I hope you can hear me.
I can hear you.
Good. Years ago, I met the CEO of Harley Davidson back when it was the 100th year of Harley Davidson. He was CEO Jeff Bluestein, I think from New Jersey. So it could have been around 2008, I'm guessing.
It was 2003.
3, good. Okay, I was kind of close. Lucy, kind of close. Back then, Columbia Engineering was honoring him that year. And I went to Columbia. I believe he has a mechanical engineering degree from Columbia. So
Yeah.
every year the banquet is a certain, I think it's like a November of every year, but that year is the 100th year of Harley Davidson. And he's like, I'm going to be in Mexico. Can you we literally had to move the entire banquet because of his schedule. So I think we moved it up a month, and that's just never happened. And so it was amazing. So I met him, I think, twice that year, and I got a photograph with him. So the second time I met him, that school calendar year of Columbia up in New York, I brought a picture that he and I got a picture with. I think it was the spring of that year. And then I asked him to autograph it. And he, instead of just citing Jeff Bluestein, he wrote, "Next time I want to see you on a Harley." I thought that was so cute. I thought that was pretty original. So, but Donna, did
Marketing, too.
you deal with him when you were working the finances?
Yeah, I was one of his direct reports. Yeah.
Awesome.
So,
So,
and
but
I was on that 100th anniversary ride. So we'll talk about that.
That
another
is so
time. It was
cool.
great
That
fun.
is
So
so
Yeah.
Leanne,
Okay.
go for it because I have more to tell everybody.
Okay. In a nutshell, I'm an engineer in construction. Grew up in Sarasota. My firm is Ivy Ventures. It's 30 years old. Last Thursday and Friday, they were having the State Construction Industry Licensing Board in Sarasota. I served on that board mega years ago. The DPPR secretary was coming to Sarasota on Friday, Department of Business Professional Regulation, and she wanted to meet me. And I'm like, well, why does she want to meet me? She doesn't know me. So I went to the meeting. She was sitting on it. And long story short, they gave me a proclamation award for my service in the construction industry
Oh,
throughout Florida. So that was kind of
congratulations.
cool.
Who gave
So,
it to you?
sorry,
Who is it from?
her name is Secretary Melanie S. Griffin. So
Yeah,
I can send you a couple photos for the
Okay.
letter, Lucy.
yeah. Melanie's a friend of mine. That's a small
Oh,
world.
and I just met her.
Yeah.
Very cool. Thank
Yeah.
you. Thanks. So, and obviously she is also looking for people who would like to serve on many of the other boards, whether it's cosmetology, whether it's, so if you have any friends, they don't have to be women, but feel free to let me know so we can try to recommend more people. So, and then for the, in a nutshell, I told Katie earlier, I'm second generation real estate development. Basically my company, we inspect job sites throughout Florida, primarily Tampa Bay area, and we approve pay apps for the owners and banks. So basically we help authorize the bank or the owner to pay the contractor. So I'm on a 6-story hotel in Clearwater, a 5-story food hall building in St. Pete, got projects in Venice, Northport. I do Wawa gas stations, so I'm loyal to Wawa. So for Mary's thing about there's several different conferences. I encourage you all to attend this fall. I think it's November. It's in Las Vegas. Next spring, I think it's in June. I have the dates down. It's Helsinki, Finland, which I'm probably going to go. We always find out who's going. So we have about 5 people in our chapter going to
7.
Las Vegas. The one in May 15th to the 17th of 2024 is New York City. So
That's gonna be
show of
awesome.
hands, anyone interested? I plan on being interested, and I'll probably help be a liaison with our forum in Miami. So Mary, Mercedes, okay. So I'm gonna stay, during the COVID pandemic, I did a Zoom thing, social like this, but it was linking the Miami, Palm Beach, Sarasota, and New York. And that was
That
like a
was big
fun
fun.
Zoom.
That was big fun.
Thanks.
It really was.
Okay.
It was well done. Okay, so I think we've got a couple of transfers and a couple of folks who are longtime members, but I just wanted to let you know that what you've joined is a network of women who have your back. And we don't always enjoy that in this world. And we want to advance women's leadership, and that includes your own. So we have a sort of ethic at IWF. When IWF calls, we answer. So you can expect to experience that. You've already heard testimonials about how that's true. And of course, that also means that you answer when someone reaches out to you. And I know you're the kind of person that would anyway. And our community has both a local and a global perspective. And it's really interesting to see women's experiences in other countries. It makes you appreciate this one. Sometimes it makes you frustrated with this one. But you understand that a woman's experience from country to country is very different. And there are strengths that we can borrow from those countries. And there are some problems that we have solved better than others. So I have enjoyed all of that. There are some things that I view as IWF peak experiences, which I hope you'll put on your list of things to do. One of them is a dine around, and I think many of you have experienced that. It's usually in someone's home, a small group of women. There is a level of connection there. Have you ever like gone back and visited college friends and you just pick up right where you left off? Well, that happens in IWF when you don't even know the people, because we have some kind of shared women's leader experience that we all resonate with. And they're very moving and very profound, and really one of the sort of the founding strategies of linking women together and sharing ideas and experiences. I think the other peak experience is a global conference. You've been hearing about that. You'll hear a little bit more.
But also sign up for the dine around at the global conference. You may
Yes.
not know that, but definitely you want to sign up for that and sign up early.
And that's awesome, because you're, by definition, you're going to be with people from all over the world. I think our annual once a year celebration, and we'll go over the dates and everything in just a little bit. That's November 10th. It's at Lakewood Ranch, the Grove. It is fun. It is not a meeting. We have some great entertainment, right, Lucy?
Right, we have I can't remember her first name, Wadi, who is one of the Marvelettes, and she's coming with her band, The Peeps. And
And
she's
there will be dancing, I promise
high
you. I'll be
energy,
dancing. I don't know about
lots
the
of
rest of
fun.
you, but yeah. Yeah,
And then
it's-
we're actually, Tanya's, I think the Homewood Suites for people, especially Tampa and Naples, people who want to spend the night and the next day. Am I stealing your thunder, Mary?
no, this is what we're
with-
doing. Yeah.
Tracy Wagner, who's the executive VP at the Ringling College, has arranged with one of their outstanding professors to immerse us in virtual reality and to give us a total experience. So it'll be something that we could not normally do. And so it should just be fun, interesting. So I'm hoping some of you will be able to spend the night and stay, or you can come back the next day. I'll probably spend the night, and I wrote in my letter today, we can have an after party after the annual dinner back at the hotel.
What time is the Ringling College event?
It starts at 10.
Thank you.
So I wanted to see if I can, am I sharing the screen? Not yet, am I?
Not yet.
Not yet.
But I'm going to add to something Mary said. I think
ahead.
one of the things that I find most fulfilling about the Women's Forum is that we're all so diverse. You know, in so many of my organizations, it's, you know, economists or higher ed people or people from kind of my industry. And here we're all political persuasions, all industries, less age difference than we want. We're looking for more younger people. And, you know, we're working to diversify more, but we really are diverse that way, which is exceedingly interesting, I find.
So one of the things I wanted to point out that there is no waiting period for active engagement. If you want to offer a program in your area of expertise or link us with other organizations with that might have shared interest or host a dine around, just let us know. We're welcome to embrace your interest. The other thing is we are a guilt-free organization. You're busy. We know it. It's hard for you to get to stuff. We're happy to see you when you can come. And so when we offer these things, it's not to guilt you. It's to make it possible for you to attend maybe a few of them when your schedule allows. And we're always happy to see you. And we understand when you can't come. So part of what we try to do in our programming, in addition to the dine arounds, is to offer you an experience you can't get yourself by just knocking on the door. Kind of a behind the scenes experience. And so I wanted to go over some up and coming events. We do have a dine around with Roxy Jurdy. She's the director of the Sarasota Community Foundation. I think it's limited to 8.
It's sold out.
It's sold out.
It's sold out. All right, well,
Sold
we
out.
won't be talking about that. So women in midterm elections on October 17th, that's at Zoom. Susan McManus is a professor emerita from USF of political science. She is the most quoted political scientist in Florida. She's going to be
She's the member.
and she's a member. She's going to be offering us her take on the midterm elections. And so we will hear things we will not hear anywhere else.
Mary,
Also-
can we have guests on that Zoom or no?
I think so. I think so. Brain health at Roskamp. We have one of the most preeminent global researchers into Alzheimer's and other brain diseases, Fiona Crawford. She is a member, and she's going to give us a behind the scenes tour of the research and also the clinic that's available to the community. I can promise you this, and I hope I'm wrong in your case, but it's going to be the rare woman who escapes having to deal with this in her family. And so knowing what resources are there, knowing where the research is going, understanding at a deep level what the possibilities are, I think is going to be fabulous. And then we do things for fun. So we have an Italian wine dinner tasting. There's 5 courses, 5 tastings at the Braden Yacht Club. Spouses and guests and partners are welcome. So that's just for fun. In November, we have our annual dinner that you heard about. And we also have a dine around with Dawn Marie Driscoll in the Naples area. And as we get down to December, we have 3 fabulous events. Naples Botanical Garden, Donna McGinnis is a member and she's the director there. They have a Night Lights that they have every year during the holiday season. She offers a fabulous al fresco cocktail party in the garden, and you can walk the garden afterwards. My husband and I make this a date weekend. So we stay overnight in Naples and then we go do other things all weekend. We have a fabulous holiday celebration at New College. President Oker is opening the historic Cook Hall, which was the home of one of the Ringling daughters, Charles Ringling's daughter, Hester Sanborn. And it will be at sunset. We will have a young man, Pavel Lenoff, playing violin. You'll be greeted with a holiday cocktail. We'll have fabulous hors d'oeuvres and wine, and just a wonderful opportunity to mingle in a beautiful setting. And then Kathleen Shanahan is opening her home on Tampa Bay for a cocktail party. Kathleen was chief of staff to Jeb Bush, Dick Cheney. She organized George Bush's inauguration. And I'm sad for her because she left the Republican Party on January 6th. But she is certainly one of the most revered public servants. She's also head of a construction electrical distribution company called Turtle and Hughes, and she offers a wonderful, wonderful party. So these are the things that are coming up in our local area. We have our global conference in Las Vegas. It's not too late to sign up. It's November 1st through 3rd. What a global conference DNA looks like is this. You have a fabulous opening reception where typically mayor and prime ministers and all kinds of people greet you, Olympic gold medalists. And then there's always fabulous entertainment and fabulous food. And it's a chance where many of us see people that we met as friends through these conferences, and we get to get in touch again. There is the actual conference piece, which is like 2 half days, where women who are thought leaders from around the world present topics from a global and local perspective through a women's lens.
Mary, can you close the screen so we can see you?
Sure. All right, let's see if I can figure out how to do that.
Perfect. Thank you, Mary.
That worked. Thanks you. So the next part, and Leanne mentioned it, there are dine-arounds. There are also behind the scenes tours. And this is where IWF offers inside looks of things in the area that are interesting and important. So for example, my behind the scenes that I chose for Las Vegas, I'll be walking through a major archaeological site with an archaeologist who will be talking about the First Peoples. Which one are you doing,
in
Leanne?
Sweden, my behind the scenes was going to the ABBA Museum. Hello.
There you go. There's all kinds of things, social justice kinds of offerings. The behind the scenes are fabulous and multi-storied.
So
So,
I have to say, mine in Chile, in Santiago, a couple months ago, was at this big ranch that the whole family lived on in different houses and with beautiful art and all. And we were just walking through it, and she had horses. And one of the people in our group said, "You have horses?" And she said, "Yeah, do you want to ride?" So everyone went riding. I didn't actually, but most of them did. And yeah, it's just great.
yeah,
And there's
it's
also the dine-arounds where you go to someone's house, just like we do.
So I have to confess, the registration is not cheap, but it includes all your meals. It includes the dine-arounds, it includes the behind the scenes, it includes a gala where women of global preeminence are inducted into our Hall of Fame. And these are people like Madeleine Albright and Gloria Allred and Hillary Clinton. I mean, these are Ellen Sirleaf Johnson, who was the first woman president of an African country and a Nobel Prize winner. So there are folks of that ilk that we honor and celebrate, as well as a program that I just love. It's called Women Making a Difference. And so you have women who have been honored for projects that they've just started on their own, very entrepreneurially, usually social justice, and it highlights their efforts, and it just shows you what the possibilities are if you just go for it. So I really think if you're gonna embrace IWF, definitely a dine around, definitely a global conference. And definitely looking at some of these programs here locally where you get a view of things from a perspective that you might not have access to otherwise. So we are coming to the end of our time. I wanted to ask our newer members, is there a question that we didn't answer? Well, it's time to say goodbye.
No, it's just been wonderful to meet some folks, heard some of the names, and I've really enjoyed it and looking forward to it.
Well, maybe we'll see you at the Naples Botanical Gardens then.
Yeah,
All right, great.
Yeah,
For
thank you so
sure.
much. It was very informative. Really appreciate it.
Good. Glad you
Thank you.
enjoyed it.
Thank you all for
Thank
coming.
you.
Great.
Thank
Good to
Thanks,
see
everybody.
everyone.
Have a good
Good
evening.
to see everyone. Take care.
Bye.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
Safe travels